Carlton Smith was a New York Times best-selling author. He wrote a lot of true crime books, and including this one, and Peterson, John Benet Ramsey, and so forth. Now we're friends, talked regularly, and it was really tragic when he died. Went out to get his newspaper on a Sunday morning, died on the steps, apparently reaching for his paper, heart attack. But this isn't a sad video, it's just I'm remembering Carlton, and he was funny too. And he said each time before he started on a book, he had the cleanest house in town. Now, a lot of authors are going to know exactly what I'm talking about here. I knew what he was talking about. When you've got all your materials and you're ready to write, it's common, especially if you've written a lot of books, to put it off. And he put it off by cleaning his house. Well, this needs to be cleaned. And he said he would have the cleanest place in town. But once that was done, and he had nothing else, no excuse, he'd write his book. And it would turn out, might be a bestseller. And that's what I'm doing. I'm delaying a project. Really don't have any reason to delay it anymore. But I am. So, yesterday, I put up this video, view from my writing space. That's me just 5 days ago, 4 days ago. That's basically my backyard. And it's a wheat field. And before that, it was a cornfield, and of course before that it was fallow land. That's the way it looks out right outside my window view. Fallow land. Right now it's wheat field, of course. Might be corn next, and in between it'll be this fallow land. There's just miles and miles of fields. This is looking south, just miles and miles of fields and blue Kansas sky. I have this labeled right outside my window facing south. Now, this wasn't always my view. Now here is labeled 1956 backyard. And 2021, my wife drove me over here and I took this picture. It's under a highway, 135, north-south elevated highway. And that's where I lived in 1956. Now, so different, I will explain. What we did, we drove over here to park, about 300 block of North Pyatt, in that ballpark anyway. There's a little park there. And this is walkways underneath this elevated highway. Walked over here, and I took that picture, and I lived in the 300 block of North Kansas Street in 1956. I was a toddler, and this was not a highway. This was just a residential neighborhood, but what they're labeled here, Chisholm Creek, not what we called it. It was just a canal. This is locally called the canal route, and what it was then was just a canal. It's a drainage ditch, and that was my backyard, right there. Where this road is was where I lived. The house is torn down and it's industrial now. But then I would toddle down to this canal and go paddling in it. And I'm 1 year old or less, and just right around there. And my mom was in taking a nap. She'd come out screaming and yelling at me, "Don't do that." And my memory is of dragonflies and cat o' nine tails and stuff in the water, and it was ugly, murky water that you don't want your toddler in. But I was a toddler, and my view was I was going to go down through my backyard to the creek. I mean, it was wonderful for me. And my mom kept, trying to make sure I couldn't get down there, and I kept finding ways to get down there. Finally, she was screaming at my dad. We had to move, and where we moved was even worse, as it turned out. But it was on Wichita Street. My dad always said, "Yep, we moved from Kansas to Wichita, North Kansas, 300 block." So those are my earliest memories, and so life goes on. I write a book, and what happens? Well, okay, this is book Nightmare in Wichita, a Kindle edition, not for the BTK Strangler. On Friday, October 22nd, 2004, about 7 p.m., Wichita UPS. Routine pickup boxes in the 200 block of North Kansas, just a block from where I lived my early time in this planet. And I happened to be, by weird chance, fairly good friends. We'd get together for dinner sometimes, of this Wichita UPS driver who picked up a box from BTK. And so, of course, he tells me all about it after he's cautioned by law enforcement not to tell me all about it. And that's what happened constantly. I just kept knowing people, and I'd known them for years. And then this BTK story came up, and it would be by weird coincidence, somehow have a story, and they'd contact me and tell me. So he told me, and it's in this book. And so 300 block in North Kansas. Box was right around here, I think. So that's where I crawled down to the canal route, to the canal. And now, so actually, when Dennis Rader, he later talked about, he would have just taken this exit right through what would have been my backyard to place his package. And and he went back and left. So we each have these memories of things in our lives that are improbable but true. And that's one of mine. That was where I lived, 1956, almost 70 years ago. Now it's a concrete canal and an elevated concrete highway, but that's where I played when I was young. Now I live in a rural area, surrounded by a sea of wheat right now, and Probably I'll live in this area till I die. And I'm going to try to finish a few more projects before my time ends, but right now I'm delaying that by reminiscing, I suppose. Although my house is pretty clean too. On my desk, I'm always got a messy desk. Keyboard.